Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be making a squishy for you guys. I'm going to be making it from memory foam. I get my memory foam from eBay. This is the number one question I get the most. And yeah, I just go onto eBay, I type in memory foam, cut to size. I just look for one on there, any old one. Sometimes I buy it by auction, sometimes I buy it from a shop. It's just easier for me to find on eBay than it is any other site. I know local stores, like hardware stores, upholstery, textile stores, those sorts of things sell them near me. So yeah, maybe you can look out for those type of stores having memory foam in. The squishy that I made in today's video was this little fortune cookie. I absolutely love it. Look at this, it's so adorable. I love this so much. This is my favorite squishy that I've made in a long time. I'm just so obsessed. She is such a little cutie. I know this is probably killing you guys, me not squishing it right now, but I am going to save it till the end so you can get a good close-up view. And without further ado, let's just get straight on into the tutorial.
So first of all, taking a piece of memory foam, you just want to draw out a circle shape on it. I'm using a 3-inch piece of memory foam here, which I got off of eBay, and I've just used like an off-cut piece. You don't have to use a 3-inch as I cut mine down anyway, but this is the last bit of memory foam that I have left at the moment. So I just drew around a pin kind of container just because that's what I had to hand. You can use a cup or a glass or something like that, and you just then want to make like a curved V so that you have the fortune cookie like shape. You then want to start cutting out the memory foam around that shape, so you just want to start off by making that curved edge around like the circle shape, making sure that it's nice and round and as smooth as possible, and then you want to go ahead and cut all the way up so that you can get right into that deep V shape. You then want to round off each side of like that V to make the fortune cookie shape. I'm so sorry, I'm really bad at voiceover still. But yeah, you just want to keep going ahead until you have the shape really roughly kind of cut out. Then you want to cut your memory foam down to the right width. Mine was obviously really thick because my memory foam was so thick. So I just cut this down to size. I think I cut it to about 1 inch thick, so I could obviously make 3 fortune cookies out of this one piece. But anyway, you just want to focus in on that piece you have left and just really smooth it out. Smooth as much as you can at this stage, as the smoother the memory foam, the smoother the overall squishy will be. So you just want to be really taking your time on this bit to get it as smooth as possible. Once my shape was done and I was happy with the amount of smoothing that I did, I then took the very tip of my scissors and just cut a little kind of line all the way around the outside of the curve. And then using my scissors at an angle, I just smoothed those out and rounded those kind of bits off. This just created the effect of like the fortune cookie being folded. Anyway, before I painted my squishy, I went ahead and popped it onto a barbecue skewer. I do this so that I'm able to paint all the sides at once and allow it to dry, and that way it takes like half the amount of time because you're not like painting one side and then having to wait for it to dry to paint the other. So if you stick it on a barbecue skewer, it takes half the time, so that's a great tip there. Anyway, I just used this homemade puffy paint mixture that I mixed up to put on 3 layers in total. As you can see, the first layer dried a little bit darker, so I lightened up the colour a little bit and then put on another thick layer. Once that thick layer was then dry, I put on another thick layer and left that to dry also. This puffy paint is really simple to make, but if you don't want to make it, you can obviously use a kind of store-bought one. Tulip are great as well as scribbles, but they can be a little bit more expensive. The way that I make mine is basically using a PVA glue, some little bits of acrylic, and then just fabric paint added in, and it works perfectly. To make the shading on the fortune cookie, I just took the same shade and added a little bit of acrylic paint in it to darken it up. I used some off-cut sponge to sponge it on, and then another piece of off-cut sponge to kind of sponge it off so that I had the perfect amount of shading around the edge of the fortune cookie. I then went ahead and painted on a little kawaii face, so I started off with black fabric paint, painting on the eye and then a little mouth in between, and then the other eye. I really take my time getting this right because I always want it to be perfectly round, and with the memory foam being quite textured, this can sometimes be a little bit tricky. I then went ahead and painted on some blush with a light pink coloured fabric paint, and then with a dotting tool I just popped on dots onto the eyes just to make them a little bit cuter. This is completely unnecessary, but I like to do that. I did one bigger dot on each eye as well as one smaller dot. Next I needed to make it look more like a fortune cookie, so I decided to add in like a little paper tag. You can use like foam or whatever you want to use on this, but I just used paper as I had it to hand. I cut it down to size, I popped some fabric paint onto it and wrote out the word love with a little love heart. I only did that because I actually had some fabric paint left over, otherwise I just would have used acrylic paint. Once that was dry, I then super glued it into like the little kind of ridge that was on the outside, and once that was fully secure, my squishy was then complete. I'm super happy with how this one came out. It is so cute. I wish that I'd kind of used a slower rising memory foam on it, as it's not the slowest rising, but it's still pretty good in my opinion. I think it's so cute and just so original. Like, look at his little face. I've never actually seen a fortune cookie squishy up until now. I'm sure there are some, but I've not seen one, and it's been something that's been floating around in my head for the last couple of months that I needed to make and make into reality, and I'm so happy that I've done it because it just looks the way I hoped it would look, if that makes any sense at all. I do want to make it some packaging eventually and like pop it up on my shelf or something, because I think that this one would look so sweet in a little fortune cookie bag, maybe with a couple of others as well, which I can use from that piece of memory foam that I had left from where I cut it in like 3 bits. So yeah, I already have 3 kind of half made. Anyway, this is what it turned out like. I hope you like it. Please give it a thumbs up if you do like the design, as it helps me to know that you want more of this type of video in the future. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I will see you very soon for another DIY. Bye!